Hi everyone. So for this week's discussion question, is to discuss about what can you begin doing to prevent ethical challenges in your practicum site. So last week I talked about the ethics code 206 106D, basically personal relationships and not accepting gifts from clients. So I kind of talked about this a little bit in last week's discussion, but a couple of the things that I said immediately or like off the top of my head were to make sure to set those boundaries with the parents when you first begin services. Maybe the ethics or the codes being addressed during that first assessment, making sure that we are giving a clear explanation of to what our job is for the family. We're providing a service to the family, even though some of us may be in the home. And when working in the home, this can be a little bit more difficult just because we as providers spend a lot more time with the family, one-on-one, and get to know the family and the whole family dynamic in general. So, that means you get to know the family members, you get to go know the brothers and sisters, you get to know sometimes grandma and grandpa, and so forth. So being able to set those boundaries first, just to let the family know, like, the reason why you're there, what your main goal is, and what you can do to help the family. So another thing is when setting those boundaries, make it clear that that during holidays, gifts, or birthdays, any of those special occasions, or even if it's not a special occasion, that we as providers are not allowed to accept gifts just because it's our ethical code based off of 106D. And being able to explain this will cause a lot less stress for the RBT or the behavior analyst who is providing services, because if it does come up, we can always remind the family, being like, do you remember when we discussed the time about how we're not allowed to accept gifts? We've had this discussion. Just kind of going back, just giving them that little overview. Even though it can be very hard for a family, because they really do appreciate the services that we are providing for their family, and them being able to see the changes that we have done for their client or for their child. So they just want to show us our appreciation. But also, as the provider, we need to come across as, not try to present it in the most subtle way, not like, no, I can't do that, sorry, or I can't accept that in a rude way. We also need to watch our tone of voice and how we come across as well. Like I said, this is setting boundaries, setting the barriers from the get-go will make it much easier later on, and making sure that we can refer back to our ethical codes, and knowing that the family knows and we know, so at least at that point our grounds have been covered. All right, thanks.